Burn britches. Somebody said they say the true colors of a person is coming out, man. 'Cause they can't stand it. Calm is the. I don't like using that word calm, but our Lord knows. He knows. He knows. He knows.
Calvin Ford just dropped a real bombshell about Gervonta Davis. In case you missed it, Ford wasn't just Davis's trainer. He was practically a father to him. He stood by him through every brutal fight, celebrated every big win, and supported him through each setback. The two were so close they seemed unbreakable, which makes Davis's recent choice even more shocking. But now, Ford has finally revealed the reason behind it all. Tank isn't the same as he used to be. I wanted to support him, but in the end, it was his choices that pushed me to let him go. I was ready to be there for him, but his decisions led to us drifting apart. Right away, rumors started spreading that money was the main problem. People guessed that finances might be causing tension between the fighters. It's true that money can sometimes create arguments, especially in big sports like boxing. For fighters like Davis, who are used to getting paid a lot, arguments over money can make things difficult. When there's a lot of money involved, even close friendships can be tested. What once felt like a strong bond can suddenly feel shaky if people don't agree about finances.
I want him to have that attitude because, again, I know what's under the hood with him. He's Ford built tough.
People were saying that Davis hadn't been paying Ford, which was causing problems between them. But is this really true? It doesn't seem like something Davis would do, especially since he and Ford have worked together for a long time. Money problems like this aren't new in boxing. Many famous boxer trainer teams have broken up because of arguments over payments. Even strong partnerships can end when money gets in the way. Davis and Ford might be just the latest example of this common issue. When money becomes a problem, even the closest bonds can start to fall apart, especially in a tough sport like boxing, where everyone wants what they feel they deserve. But Calvin Ford has shared that the situation goes deeper than just money. In an honest interview, he talked about how he really felt about the split, showing fans a side they hadn't thought about before. Ford admitted that he felt hurt by what happened between him and Davis. Even though he was upset, Ford explained that his biggest concern was always Davis's success and safety. He cared a lot about helping Davis grow as a fighter and making sure he stayed safe in the ring. To Ford, those things were more important than anything else.
My journey's crazy. That's why I said this. Yo, you can't write this, man. You cannot write this. My experience being gone, and all the stuff that I went through, preparing me for where I'm at today. That Tank is older. He had the lessons, getting his lessons of what he got to do, take us the rest of the way. And this is his take us the rest of the way fight.
I tried to stop him from making decisions that could ruin his career, including keeping him from going down the path of PEDs. The way Ford talks about Davis shows he truly believes Davis is someone worth protecting, even if that means pushing him in ways Davis didn't always like. Ford sees his role not just as a trainer, but as a mentor, guiding Davis even when it's tough. Ford's words touched on a problem many young athletes face: the pressure to perform at their very best, even when it feels almost impossible. Fighters are always in the spotlight, with fans and coaches expecting them to be stronger, faster, and tougher than anyone else. This can create a lot of stress for athletes who want to keep up with those high expectations. With all these demands, some boxers feel tempted to look for shortcuts. They might think that using performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs, could help them get an edge over their opponents. For some, it seems like an easy way to meet those big expectations, even though it comes with risks and can harm their health. Remember Ryan Garcia? Yep, you get the point. Being with Davis for so many years has made Ford very worried about him possibly taking the wrong path. Ford cares a lot about keeping Davis grounded and making sure he stays focused on the right things. Ford has always been like a steady guide, helping Davis remember what's important beyond just winning fights. As Davis's fame has grown in the fast-paced world of boxing, Ford's concerns have only gotten stronger. Boxing is a high-stress sport where glory and fame can seem like the most important things in life. Ford knows how easy it can be for a young fighter to get lost in all the attention and pressure. In all honesty, having someone like Ford to guide him away from potentially harmful choices was essential. When fans see a boxer like Davis, they think of his strength, his skill, and his big knockouts. But there's another side to the sport that people don't always see. It's the side where fighters have to handle a lot of pressure and still take care of themselves. Being in the spotlight isn't easy, and it can be hard to stay balanced with so much stress. Ford understands this hidden side of boxing better than most. He's seen how the sport can push fighters to their limits, and he knows that fame and success can sometimes lead them down tough paths. Ford has watched other fighters struggle, and he wants to make sure Davis doesn't face the same problems. The firing of Calvin Ford was already a big surprise, but his recent arrest made things even more dramatic. In December 2023, news came out that Ford had been arrested in Las Vegas. People were shocked to hear that he was accused of pulling out a gun during a heated argument. The details of what happened were troubling and made fans worry even more. It was a serious situation, and it showed a side of Ford that many hadn't seen before. This arrest added more problems for Ford, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Almost immediately, social media exploded with comments like trainer, like fighter, suggesting that Ford's actions could reflect badly on Davis. Davis's decision to part ways with Ford might look like a smart move. Some people think it was a way for Davis to separate himself from the negative attention surrounding Ford. After all, when things get messy, it's not unusual for someone to want to distance themselves from any bad press. But was it really that simple? Even with everything that has happened, Davis isn't letting the past stop him. He recently shared a big plan for the future, saying he wants to sign a deal for 6 or 7 fights. This deal could end up being one of the most valuable in boxing history, showing how serious Davis is about his career. Davis has made it clear that he wants a deal that's as big as the ones held by boxing legends like Floyd Mayweather. He's aiming to make his mark in the sport and prove that he's not just another boxer. Davis is aiming for some huge fights with top fighters like Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. These aren't just any matches. They're the kind that could make or break a career. Of course, no big deal. Just a few career-defining events that could set Davis apart as one of the greats. Nothing too ambitious, right? Now that he's under the guidance of Leonard Ellerbe, Davis is supposedly in good hands. Ellerbe, who has worked with some of the biggest names in boxing, recently praised Davis's skills and determination. You know, just a little bit of glowing praise from someone who's managed legends. Clearly, everything's falling into place for Davis. Tank is the total package. You don't want to waste a talent like his. A fighter like him only comes around once in a million. I'm lucky to have been a part of his journey. Davis seems to have his own idea of what makes a big fight, and it's not exactly what his fans were hoping for. Tim Bradley made a pretty bold statement about this, and it might not be something Tank wants to hear, especially now that Ford isn't around to guide him. Bradley believes that Davis's management isn't really helping him by picking opponents like Roach, a super featherweight, to fight. Apparently, the plan is to protect Davis by putting him up against weaker opponents. Sure, this could give him some easy wins, but it's not exactly going to make him look like the top-tier fighter he wants to be. If he keeps facing opponents who don't challenge him, it's hard to see how Davis's reputation will grow as one of the best in the game. So, with Calvin Ford out of the picture, it looks like Davis isn't exactly on the fast track to his dream after all. Was it really such a great idea for Ford to leave his side? Maybe this is the turning point Davis needed, or maybe not. What do you think? Drop your thoughts below,